listeners, and welcome back to our nostalgic or problematic series where we are rewatching Dawson's Creek, and we are currently on season 2. We are just breezing on through now that we're doing 2 episodes.
We are. I actually thought about that because for today we have episodes 17 and 18, and aren't there only 22?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're close to the end.
We're getting there, yeah.
Yeah.
So before we start talking about the episode, I have to tell you 2 things. Number 1, I binge watched Michelle Williams' new show, Dying for Sex.
Okay.
There's only like 6 episodes. Oh my God, it's so good.
Wow.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, this is not one that your kids can see at all.
Not even a minute.
No.
Okay.
I mean, your teens, whatever, but like Tegan does not need to see you watching this. Okay. In my house, I have like, this is an okay for the living room TV. And then this is one that, or it's one that I have to watch on my laptop because that's definitely. Now, it's a great show. Michelle Williams is a rock star. I love her so much. The girl playing the friend is amazing. It's very entertaining. There's a lot of sex stuff in it, but it's also very emotional because she's dying of cancer. She has this whole sexual awakening journey as she finds out she has cancer for the second time, and it's a fatal diagnosis. So while there is a lot of great fun things happening, there's a lot of sad stuff too. So in the end, I mean, because you know what's going to happen. It's a true story.
Okay.
It's based on a real life story about a lady, and her and her best friend started making a podcast, recording about it. I just started listening to it. I wanted to watch the show first and then listen to the podcast.
How many episodes is the podcast? Do you know?
I don't know, but the show itself is like 6 or 7 episodes.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Okay.
And then it's done.
Okay.
So that's why I was kind of like, I would watch it like in spurts. Oh, you have to watch it.
Okay.
And the one thing I really, really like about this show is that it normalizes a lot of sexual things for women that I feel like has not had a voice in popular media.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say too much because I want y'all to watch it.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about it.
All right.
That's the first thing. Second thing, did you ever watch the show from 2013 that James Vanderbeek was in? It was a short-lived show called Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23.
I don't think I ever watched it.
Okay. They're short, less than 30-minute episodes. It's like Schitt's Creek, like short, hilarious. You have got to watch that too.
Okay.
So I watched 2 episodes of it last night because I was not able to sleep. Girl, James Vanderbeek, I changed my mind. I love you in that show. He basically just makes fun of himself as Dawson because he's playing James Vanderbeek in the show.
Okay.
He's like best friends with one of these girls. And he just makes fun of himself. And there's all these funny Dawson jokes.
Oh my God.
He's like in this coffee shop doing something. And there's this girl, no matter where he is, there's this girl always yelling stuff at him. And she's like, "You're both everywhere and nowhere, Dawson."
Oh, I love that though.
And it's like, he's trying to like teach this class at a university. It's like, "Take me with you, Dawson." Like, it's just so fun. You got to see it. I don't want to tell you too much.
Okay. All right. That sounds fun.
Again, it
depends which mood I'm in.
Yeah, it's funny.
Watch.
That one's just funny. The other one is sexual, funny, and it's more dark.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, everybody, Michelle Williams, Dying for Sex, rewind back to 2013, James Vanderbeek being James Vanderbeek.
I love it.
Show.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Right,
now we can go.
Check them out. I'm going to check them out.
Season 2, episode 17 is called Psychic Friends. Summary is Dawson's confidence is shaken when his new film class teacher speaks her mind and tells him the painful truth about his new movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Which we'll get to.
And I said, I don't have a whole lot of notes, guys, but Katie does, so that's good. No, that's good because I don't have a lot.
The opening's always just so good. And I feel like anymore, it's always in Dawson's bedroom.
It's always like that, though.
The whole season, like every time. Like in season 1, I feel like
he
it wasn't
spends a lot of time in there.
Yeah. I just feel like every time now it is, and maybe that's just the way it is. But it's pretty clear quickly he's having a nightmare.
Yes,
because Joey is like saying how like essentially all the things he wants for his life, like a Hollywood career and Joey to be his girlfriend and all these things are happening, but like with Jack.
And like Jack made a movie. Jack's the best director ever. Yeah.
Right. And I talk about this later too, but they keep showing this sort of end scene of Dawson's film, and it's someone in not the canoe, the rowboat. But it was giving such Notebook vibes. I actually thought, well, so for a split second, I'm like, are they watching the Notebook? And I'm like, oh no, this is too early. So I did look it up. Notebook was 2004.
Yeah.
So it hadn't even been shot yet.
Right.
But I was just like, that's so weird that's someone in a rowboat in like that's a hilarious little creek. Makes me automatically think of Notebook.
Well, I mean, the Notebook took place in the East Coast too, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I guess it's an East Coast thing to ride around in your rowboat.
In your little rowboat. Not canoe. I did like the line where Joey, in the nightmare, in the scene, so it's fake, she says to Dawson, don't worry about it. You're not my type. You never were.
I know. You never were.
I was like, whoa. And then it went into the awesome opening song.
God, I hate it.
And then that was over. And so we've got this new film teacher who, can we just talk about this premise?
Oh, I know.
She's there.
Right.
Because she's on sabbatical from TriStar to write a movie. So therefore she's teaching a high school film class.
I know.
And of course she's like super good looking.
Of course.
And young, like not as young as the kids, but you know, you can tell she's young. And then she's
like hip, very
sophisticated because she's from Hollywood, but she's right now teaching this film class while she's on sabbatical.
Mass.
Yeah. So like, that's just funny anyway.
I know.
You have to sort of like suspend disbelief for that. But then we get another new teacher.
You guys, Dawson's dad is a teacher. I wrote hello.
Hey, he got a job.
I forgot because then in later seasons he becomes a coach too.
And it took me a second to realize, because they were like, oh, he's an English teacher. And it took me a second to realize, I think he replaced the one they fired, right?
Yeah. When did he get a teaching degree? I don't know. Who cares?
Who cares?
Who
He's
cares?
The new English teacher in town.
So cute. And that little sweater and his little tie. I was like, there it is.
He was adorable. Absolutely adorable. So then we get this sort of weird, awkward scene in the lunchroom with Joey and Jack. And Joey's just like naming every guy in the lunch line. So she's like, loser, jock.
He's a Leo.
Leo, stupid.
As in Leo DiCaprio, everybody.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. And what was the other name? They used another name.
She said Frank, as in Frankenstein, which I was like, what? So stupid. Like,
are you 97?
I don't know.
Or Joey. So, but it was funny, but it was weird because the writers were trying to establish that Joey and Jack can talk about guys now together.
But even Jack says, like, this is very weird, Joey.
Yeah. Like, don't force this. Right.
And also, she lives in a small town. She's gone to school with all these kids her entire life.
Right. You don't know actually who they are, or if they're a jock, or if they're whatever. Yeah.
I know.
That was funny. And then Andy McGeek, the scene where Pacey says something to her about how no wonder they called you Andy McGeek. I had never heard that. I don't think he said it before. I thought that was really
such
funny.
Assholes. I had a whole rhyme made up about me.
No.
I have never talked about this
here.
here.
You were the poet, but they were a poet. They rhymed your name.
Katie got serious all of a sudden. She went, I thought you were a poet.
I crossed my arms. I mean, you are a published
poet. When I was in elementary school, whenever you're like pre-puberty and your body gets all really weird, and I was a chubby kid, and they made up a rhyme that said Danny Danny with the big fat fanny.
What?
Yeah.
I'd have been like, no, if that was me now, I'd be like, thank you.
Yeah, but not when you're that age.
No, not at that age. You don't want anything pointed out at that age.
No, especially, see this, the rest of my life makes complete sense, doesn't it?
Trying to get rid of that fanny from that moment on.
Body dysmorphia clicked on there. Aww. Isn't that funny how I still remember that?
Yeah.
Still. I was probably in third, fourth grade.
It makes sense that you would remember that. That's
kids
traumatizing.
Are so mean. God, kids are so mean.
Well, that's worse than McGeek.
But that's what I thought about.
That's what that took you back to that. Okay.
I had another rhyme made up about me in high school.
Uh-oh.
I'm not.
You're not going to share? You have to. Our listeners need to know.
I don't know. I'll tell you off air, and then if it's okay, then we'll share it.
Sounds good. So stay tuned for the next Dawson's. That's where we'll talk about
I'll just go ahead and say it.
Okay.
Whatever. Because this didn't happen, because it's not true. So all right. When I was in high school, I never had chicken pox as a kid. I got it when I was a senior in high school.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it was really bad, but it came along at a great time because I went to a party one weekend, and I hooked up made out. I did not have sex with this boy. Okay. Let me clarify. This was like teenage hookups, which is just making out at this party, not realizing that him and his girlfriend had just like recently broke up because it was at this friend group's house that I was not really a part of.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they all dated each other all the time. Does that make sense?
Kind of like
Do you remember
Dawson's
this?
Creek.
So you never really knew who was doing what. Well, anyway, so wait, maybe we did do more than make out, actually, now that I think.
Like, wait a second.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. So that happened and she saw us together and it was this big ordeal, like, because it was her house. I know. It was a shitty circumstance. So the whole school, so he actually made up some bullshit. And I wasn't at school because I had chickenpox. Like I literally woke up. That was on like a Friday. I woke up Sunday morning covered in chickenpox.
Oh.
So I was out of school for like a week. Well, I get a phone call from a friend of mine. They're like, good thing you're not at school because this person is spreading all kinds of stuff about you. And in fact, they made up a song about you.
Oh my God, I'm ready.
And the guy's name was Jeremy. And the rhyme was, fuck, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Jeremy lives in a box, got his dick sucked by Danny, and now has the chicken pox. I did not do that, by the way. That did not happen.
So did he have the chicken pox too?
No, because most
right.
most.
I was just saying that'd be funny if you were both out with
I
chicken pox.
completely forgot about that until right now.
Till now. McGeek did it to you. I said Meek and she said boom.
By the way, and that also stuck with me because that did not happen.
Right.
And
I love how you tell that whole thing. I was like, oh, did he have chicken pox? Like, that's my question. It's my follow-up question. And you're like, no, that's not the point. Like, hello?
The point is, boys are jerks.
Yeah.
And obviously, the other thing too is I got completely blamed for that whole entire incident.
Yeah.
And was like so shunned and all this stuff. Meanwhile, him on the other hand, nothing.
Yeah. When he's the one that would have known the details of that relationship and how it's more sensitive.
So
be at her house being disrespectful to her house.
So, but it's all my fault, of course, because you know why, guys?
I know why.
Why?
Patriarchy.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't think we can blame capitalism on that one, but patriarchy for sure.
Misogyny. That's another one. I'm going to start saying that too.
Oh.
But anyway.
That's another one.
Anyway, whatever. Okay. That was so long ago, but I still remember that. And
that is wild.
No idea what all those people are doing with their lives. I'm sure they're doing great things. But
hopefully they turn into better people.
Teenage kids. I mean, to be fair, I probably should have been a little more aware of myself. Hello.
That doesn't mean they should like say all that, but yes, I know.
Well, nobody deserves rhymes made up about them. So look at that. I had 2 songs made up about me.
And we didn't know.
Can we make up another one that's
I literally
nice?
said McGeek, and then all this stuff just came flooding out.
Okay. I can't believe I had not. I can't believe it. Please keep going. Keep going.
Okay, here we go. Okay, Captain Skippy. Here we go.
It was so cute.
Adorable. I couldn't, like, my phone was charging behind me when I was watching it. I was laying in my bed watching this one and writing in my notebook, but I wanted to get a picture of Joshua Jackson in that cop outfit to send to Carlos.
I know.
But I didn't, and I mean, it was a fake cop. So the premise is that it was like a fall festival or something, I guess. It was
it looked freezing cold.
It looked cold. I loved the fashion, the different sweaters and the hats. This episode were really, really good.
Except Pacey had on ginormous jeans again.
He did.
You noticed?
Yes.
I think they got his sizing wrong or something.
They're like, well,
stupid.
Just wear this. So in this, Andy talks Pacey into kind of being this police dog puppet mascot named Skippy.
Yeah. He was a puppet.
So I thought he was going to be in the costume, but then when they showed it, it was just like a puppet on his hand. And of course the kids were like being jerks to him about it. So funny. It was really cute. It was really cute.
So cute.
And Joey had a line where she's talking to Jack, because she has art displayed at the festival, and Jack's helping her like get it organized and get people to look at it. And she says, Joey says something like how she doesn't think she'll be kissed in the millennium happens. I love that line.
I know.
And then of course, in the episode, but anyway, we'll get to that.
We'll get there.
So, and I also loved this really good line. So there's, without getting too much into it, because I know some beliefs, people's belief systems vary on this, but the fortune teller.
Oh, yeah.
We have the stereotypical fortune teller, and Pacey's just not buying it.
Right.
And so Andy's like, oh, but don't you want to like know? And don't you? And he says, the power of suggestion is a powerful thing.
It's true.
And I was like, wow, That is such a great point.
But that's just psychology.
That's psychology.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
But he's right.
He's right.
The reason, at least the people who, there are, I believe there are people who have those types of powers. Oh, yeah. But there's also people who exploit it.
Oh, yeah.
And don't. And so for those people who don't genuinely have the power, it is more about psychology and body language and getting clues from people and that sort of thing, which is sort of what they portrayed in this episode.
Which is unfortunate because I do know people who, we have several friends who have abilities and things like tarot card readings too. I think it just kind of cheapens it for people who really take it seriously.
Exactly.
So it's sad.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Exactly.
Wait, but Joey did say something stupid. And I don't remember where this was, but when they're talking, remember, okay, we talked about the comparisons in the cafeteria, Leo and Frank, and Jack asked her, so is Dawson a Leo or is he a Frank? And she's like, Dawson is definitely a Leo. I was like, no, he's not.
Yeah. I thought that was weird too.
I know. It didn't even go right. That was just, no.
It didn't fit. But then I wondered, at the time, was James Van Der Beek getting put in categories with Leonardo DiCaprio? For example,
probably teen heartthrob or whatever.
So maybe that was why. It was just kind of like a joke.
I know, but
a writer's joke. I don't know. It was weird.
James Van Der Beek, yes. Dawson, no.
Absolutely.
Let's
and
clarify.
I much prefer James Van Der Beek as a person nowadays to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
that is a very low bar.
Correct.
Yes, right.
Correct.
So I would actually say, if we're talking about the actors, James Van Der Beek far superior.
Agreed.
Okay, so then Colin shows up. Who is cute.
Who's Colin?
Colin comes to look at Joey's art.
Oh, I didn't even write. That was his name.
Yeah, that was his name. Colin. And I did say he's cute.
He is cute.
And so he says something
But where are all these random cute people just dropping in all the time?
So the premise of the fair
was in college, right?
was that it was at the college.
Oh, that's right. Man, I really wasn't paying attention.
But you're right. These really attractive people of both sexes and all ages just
pop
randomly
into
show
Capeside
up all the time. He was a college student.
Got it.
And so he was there. And so he's there. And, I always ask you questions. What are your thoughts on this? So after he kind of walks away, Jack's like, oh, he was hitting on you, to Joey. He's like, he wanted to take her picture. Or I don't think he'd asked that yet, but he was kind of interested in her. And Joey's like, I'm just not in that space. I'm just da, 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 da. And then Jack said something about how she should really be saying yes to every opportunity. And that took me back because I read a book a number of years ago. It's Shonda Rhimes' book. It's called The Year of Yes. And it's all about her journey on saying yes to a bunch of stuff within a year. And for her, the journey made sense because she, despite being a famous showrunner and all these things, was very guarded about new opportunities, new experiences, etc. She was having some health issues, it's all these things. So she decided for a year, if I'm invited to something, I'm going to go. If I'm asked to work on a project, I'm going to say yes. I'm a girl. Okay. And I was like,
that's terrible.
After I read that book, I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, no.
I already kind of do that anyway.
Nah.
I need to have the year of no is what I need.
Hey, your next book.
Honestly,
really,
seriously. So, but I need to probably do it, or I guess
I was saying,
as I do it.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's the point. Okay, you heard it here first, listeners. So, but then when Jack said say yes to every opportunity, it kind of made me think of that book and just in general that concept. Thoughts on saying yes to every opportunity? When is it appropriate?
Well, I think about that. I know parents that give their kids a yes day. No, I don't do that because that's crazy. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Again, you have to have, like I said in the other episode, I'm here for a good time. We're not here for a long time, right? I get it. You have to live and you have to enjoy stuff, but you do have to say no sometimes. Sometimes no is the correct answer, even when it's something good.
Right. And I think in the case of what Jack's trying to encourage Joey to do, and in the case of Shonda Rhimes' book, in Shonda's case, she realized that her defaulting to no all the time was the problem, right? Oh, thank you. I dropped my notes.
I think
so. Even
maybe
as a parent,
just opening your mind a bit,
right?
Maybe maybe don't instinctively answer right away whether it's no or yes.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good answer.
Look at me living in the gray.
I love it. I love you, gray girl.
I know.
Okay. Speaking of, that is a perfect segue.
It is.
To Graham
and
Whit,
which was so cute.
Well, it was till it wasn't. But yes, I said adorable. OMG. So Grams is at the fair. It looks like she's got like a quilt booth or something. She's selling quilts.
Those little chip clips that were decorated clothespins. And I'm like, that's actually fun.
Super fun. And Jen's like, what is this?
Like, what the hell is this?
It was like an angel chip clip.
But to be fair, my mom used to go to like craft fairs all the time back in the 80s. And that's the kind of bullshit that made money.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have something like that. Absolutely. Wit, someone who knew Grams before and is her like age, her peer, comes over and is basically kind of like hitting on her. And Jen now starts encouraging Grams to kind of reciprocate or go spend some time with him.
Basically like live her life too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tell at first Grams is like really uncomfortable. I think she even says, she says, I have it here, that part of my life is over.
I know, which is
and then
so
I said,
sad. Well, I think that that's so sad because I always say if you're still breathing, your life's not done yet, you know? And we talked about that when I went on my tangent about soulmates.
Yeah.
I don't believe in soulmates because I thought of that when we were watching this episode. I don't think there's just one. I was like, man, I sound like such an asshole on that episode.
No, you didn't.
I think that I think there's multiple chances for happiness with other people, whether that's a romantic partner or a friend or a business partner. I don't think there's just one.
You get one shot.
Yeah.
And when that person
and that's
dies
what she's saying. And honestly, like, I'm not surprised she thinks that because in the church, you are taught that. Like you have one person you're supposed to be with, kids you're supposed to have, and Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think too, I don't know that even before that moment, maybe she hadn't even thought of it.
Well, I mean, she was married to her husband for so long. And you probably do feel like, well, that's all I know. Because I remember her episode, like they'd been together for like, 40 years?
Something like that, yeah.
So she's probably like, well, it's just easier to be done.
Yeah. I totally agree. So now back to Colin, the guy who came and was talking to Joey. I don't know if I remembered it from seeing it forever ago or I just saw the cracks immediately when he's talking about how beautiful she is. But like right away it's suspect because he's saying things like Carol Lombard smile. And I'm like,
It's like on Clueless.
Yeah.
Or where he with Christian. Yeah, I know. We're going to do a Clueless episode next.
And they're kind of taking it as a compliment, but then you're like, I think they're just stating it because they can objectively look at you that way. But we'll get into that. I just have a note. Captain Skippy can't stop laughing. Also, Joshua Jackson in cop outfit. Which I already talked about, but it was really good.
Oh, wait. I do have something else funny about the whole Grams on the date situation. That I wrote down. Why do people in shows eat dinner so late? Because he's like, I'll meet you here at 8:00. To like go to dinner at 8:00.
I know
and they're old people.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
I mean, I'm not even that old and I ain't trying to eat dinner at 8:00.
I wonder if they were trying to set it up as more of a date, that you would go on a date at nighttime.
You don't go to dinner at 8:00. I
don't know.
When you go out with your husband, y'all go eat dinner at 8:00.
Oh no, we're there at like 3:30. I'm like, I need to be in my PJs by 8:00. Okay, full wine.
Listen. I'm telling you, there is something to be said about hitting up dinner at 5:00. Yeah, girl, that is
nice.
A good time. You get a happy hour special. There ain't nobody there. You ain't waiting, and then you get home and you have plenty of time in PJs and whatever else you need to be doing.
I totally agree. I've noticed, and I have to do something about this because I don't want to be this person.
Oh God.
But I've noticed that I've always done this. So maybe I've just noticed it recently, but I've always done it. When it starts to get dark, I do start to like panic and get grumpy and all the things. Because if it starts to get dark and I see a bunch of dishes and I see a bunch of laundry or we're still driving back from something, I shift. I am like irritable. I'm like, now it doesn't help that I wake up at like 4 a.m.
I was gonna say, you're probably ready to go to sleep.
My body is like,
Katie's been up since 3:30. Yeah, it's 8:00. Your body's like, we're done now.
Seriously. So my husband, he tends to be more of a night owl, and he's changed his habits to adjust so that he can be up early and go to bed at a normal hour and stuff. But to him, if there's dishes sitting there, he'll just be like, oh, I'll just watch like Sports Center at 9:30
I can't do
and watch them. And so then I'm sitting in here 8:15, puffing and puffing, doing all the dishes. He's like, oh, I'll get those. And he probably will.
Right. But you're not
I'm like,
right now.
I can't relax.
Yeah. Same.
And I am so tired. And it's like a panic anger, irritability. So the other night was my husband's birthday, and he wanted everyone to swim with him, which we did, which was very lovely. All 7 of us just hanging out back. But because I had lessons, we didn't eat dinner till like 7:30. And it was a long dinner because it was birthday dinner. And he can make dinner, but it was his birthday. So I was I will make dinner.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it till I got home. We sit down at 7:30. Everyone's there. It's lovely. We eat, we do whatever, we do cake. Well, now it's like 8:15, 8:20. And my brain is starting to panic. Because I'm like, we still all have to go out to the pool. Got all these here dishes. And Tegan hasn't done her homework. Dishes. And it's his birthday. So I'm not leaving the dishes.
Oh, I thought you meant like, and it's his birthday.
Well, no, girl. We get that over with first thing. I am not having that hanging over my head all day.
Check that box.
Done.
God. So, I thought you meant like, and that's coming.
Hey, if it's dark at night, that's not coming. But if it's dark in the morning, that's when you hit me up.
The darkness is key. It just has to be the right darkness.
The right time of darkness.
Because I'll tell you, that midday stuff, that's some bright light when you're our age.
I don't even know. No.
Y'all know what we're talking about too, because listen, that's for you young folks. We need some soft lighting or zero.
Sight is not a sense that's needed. You can use all the other ones.
Sorry. See, people that don't listen to these episodes,
I'm telling you,
have missed out on this.
Soulmates.
They
birthday
missed out on a
hopefully not their
song about chicken pox and other bodily parts.
Yes. And another song about you.
So what ended up happening?
So I was not actively having to fight those feelings.
Yeah.
I'm like, Katie, you are outside and literally your whole family's out here and everyone's happy and everyone's swimming and like your kids are playing and your husband's happy. It doesn't matter that it's 8:30, 40. Finish up everything out here. Then when everybody's done, get the kids to help you, do whatever, and it was fine. But I find as I'm getting older, I get up super early and my days are I've been able to kind of put language around it recently. Like I'm so overstimulated all day that like I do hit a wall.
And you're overpeopled.
I'm overpeopled. I can't do any more executive functioning that day because I've done so much. Yeah. If I kind of tried to say that to him, not on his birthday, but the day after, I was like, I think I get freaked out when it starts to get dark and when it starts to get late because it feels still like such a long time to get to where I can relax if I see all this stuff, which I can try to fix. Like I can do things earlier if I'm there. Like, and he did say, I understand. Like, I see what you're saying, but I'm trying to not be that old, like, grumpy lady at night.
Well, it's hard when, like, because that's anxiety. That's 100% anxiety symptom, as the lady from experience.
You're right. That's what it feels like.
It really is
horrible. It's miserable.
It really is because, well, we won't go into the science of it, but yeah. But, it's hard too when part of it is just like how people are built. And then some of it's things you can fix.
Right.
Right. So it's trying to figure out like, okay, is this something I have to adjust for or that I need to like really look into changing?
Right.
That's tricky.
Are there things I can just fix so that the anxiety is lessened?
Yeah.
Or is it like, no, I really just need to change my perspective?
And the reason we started talking about this is because Grams was having dinner date at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
So note to self, Katie's birthday party is at 3 o'clock. Why wouldn't it be better to have it at night? I said, no.
Troy said that?
Yeah, which is weird. But for him, because in his brain, he's thinking, how late are people going to be here?
He thinks they're going to be there at night anyway.
And they will be.
Well, they probably will be.
Because there are some people coming later.
Yeah.
Like we have a list of people coming a little bit later than 3 because people are like 3 o'clock.
Are you serious?
No, but
I mean that'd be okay.
I was like, I asked her what time. Like that's a good time. I don't know.
No, I know why we did it because Anastasia opens this weekend.
Oh yeah, that's why.
And when you set the date, we weren't sure which of our friends were going to be in it. And they would have had a 6 o'clock call.
True. Well, and some still have to go.
And I'm happy that it's at 3.
Hey, listen, girl, we're having some wine and snacks, and it's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be great.
Costco birthday cake, which is the best.
Oh, that sounds good.
I know. Have you had one?
Not from Costco. We usually just go to Publix.
Wait,
so I can't.
Because you're a frosting girl, yeah.
Oh, I know. Frosting.
That's why you're gonna love it.
Okay, I can't wait.
Okay.
So speaking of anxiety again, when Jen brings up, we never took a break. Oh yeah, cake was non-anxiety. Jen mentions contraceptives to Grams. And Grams goes, that's it. I'm not going. I was like, that's great. I love that. Okay, so then we have the scene where Joey now goes on to the college campus with Colin, and Jack insists on coming, which good on Jack.
Smart friend for a photo shoot.
She's like, it's an adventure.
Because he's like, we're going to do a photo shoot. Red
Meet
flag.
me at the backstage.
And I have clothes for you.
Right. And Jack's like, I'm gonna come too. But it basically just turns into like, let's put Katie Holmes, the actress, in every like smoke show outfit. Because she wouldn't normally wear this as her character.
Right.
And let's have a montage of her just looking hot.
But don't we I love me a photo shoot montage.
I mean, I loved it.
Oh my God.
Like in the gold dress with the black boa. Oh my God.
We need to have our own, except our photo shoot montage would not be smoke shows.
Maybe 50%.
Wow, it's a lofty goal. We need to have a photo shoot where we're 50% smoke show.
Maybe 49.
I think we could do it. We would just need a lot of assistance.
Yeah, I think we could do it.
I would need coaching. I'd have no idea how to be a smoke show. Do you?
Would you like me to be your coach? Because that doesn't seem like a good idea. I don't think in the end that's what you're going to want.
Just imagine.
You remember my roller skating coaching from last episode? Yes. Just spin around.
No, that I could do. That would be like the worst. This is hilarious. That's our next reel. Danny and Katie trying to figure out how to be smoke shows.
I love it. Let's do it.
No, I'm just kidding. I was totally
fine. And then we'll just throw pies at each other at the end. We're like, we give up.
Here you go, pies. One weird guy that commented on our YouTube.
Here you go, one weird guy. You got your wish. Okay, so there's that. So
what is happening today?
There's like a very brief moment where it's maybe like 3 or 4 sentences, but Joey and Jack are talking, and she says something about him being gay like a $3 bill.
What?
And then she gets mad at him and she says, you really need to get your gaydar fixed.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jack's all like, well, they don't like offer training courses. What?
Yeah. What am I supposed to do about
Because if you haven't watched it, listeners, Colin wants to ask Jack out on a date.
Joey.
Not Joey.
Plot twist.
Yes. And so then Joey tries to get them to meet up without asking Jack's consent.
Yeah.
She tells Colin, yeah, I'll have him meet you here at like 11. That was going to be 11 p.m. What are these people doing?
Well, I mean,
I guess for teenagers.
Yeah.
That's different.
They're not going to dinner. They're just meeting up.
True. And Jack gets really upset and he says, just because there's a second homosexual in Capeside,
right?
His words, I'm not obligated to go out with him.
Correct.
And you shouldn't have consented for me.
Right.
And I was like, yes, that in every situation, people have to make their own decisions for those things. Oh, and then we've got where I totally forgot about this plot line. Dawson's new film teacher watches his movie.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, do you remember what she said when it was done? First, she says,
I don't remember.
Before the critique, she goes, it's fine.
It's fine. She told him it was, well, I laughed because I think I wrote down, she said his film was about teenagers who talk too much. She's basically describing Dawson's Creek, which is funny.
Which is
I thought that was a
like
good little joke.
Teenagers who talk too much and are way too sophisticated for their age.
Yeah. That was a good little.
She was like basically just saying like.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was funny. I like that too. So she didn't like it and he took the criticism very, very.
Of course he did.
And then back to Jack and Joey when Joey's all kind of upset, kind of being like, oh, like nobody likes me and blah, blah, blah. And Jack just kind of gives her a little kiss on her forehead.
I know, so cute.
And he says, Joey, don't worry about it. We have plenty of time to be kissed.
Exactly.
I loved that.
I know.
And I was like, yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Because we've talked before about like the pressure, the virginity pressure and all the things. So for him to just be like, it's okay.
But also, I mean, part of that's probably just her hormones being like, I would like some smooching.
That too. And then we kind of get a little foreshadowing when the film. You can't see me if you're listening.
Katie just did this little witch hand.
I did.
Foreshadowing. It was good.
Where Mitch, Dawson's dad, gets in the car with the film teacher.
Of course he does. She's a hot teacher.
Yeah.
And he's a new single hot dad.
Yes.
Exactly. Not surprised. And they live in a small town. Who else are you going to get with?
I guess the next attractive person that just pops up out of nowhere. But
right?
For now, I guess her. And so at the end, then I really did feel for Dawson when there's that final scene where he's out there and everyone's interacting with other people on a meaningful way. Mm-hmm. So he sees the teacher. I think he sees her get in the car with his dad. He sees like Jack congratulating Joey because she sold something and they hug. And then I think like Pacey and Andy are nearby. And it's just everyone's having these kind of connection moments and he's just standing there feeling bad about his film and his life and his love life and all the things, and I did feel for him. That was all I really had.
Well, then and Joey's dad, he comes back at the very end.
That's right.
Yeah.
Joey gets home and there's a guy standing at the door and you wonder for a second actually who it is, and he turns around and it's her dad.
And I'll tell y'all, these episodes now moving forward, a lot of shit happens in the last few minutes. This is where we start entering that era of Dawson's Creek and other shows where
the cliffhanger,
the big shit happens in the last 5. Like, don't fall asleep, don't turn it off early because you're gonna miss something.
You're gonna miss it. Oh, and I forgot, I kind of skipped over that Grams realizes Whit is married because he cancels their 8 o'clock date because his wife's not feeling well.
Yeah.
So then she feels kind of down. She feels kind of down in the dumps, but Jen apologizes because Jen's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I pushed you." And she says, "No, this was good because it reminded me that like that part of me is there.
Yeah.
And I was excited for this, and I did like."
And she looked great.
She looked great.
Listen, I am a fan of hair dye, and that hair dye
looked good.
It looked good.
It looked good. Her makeup, yeah. So she, if nothing else, was able to remember that feeling. So I like that. All right, so Joey's dad, shows up from, in case you forgot about Joey's dad,
he was
fresh
in jail.
from prison.
Yeah.
Yes. Fresh out the slammer.
Yeah, and that was it. And then we go on the next episode, which is called A Perfect Wedding. Are you ready, or you have more on that episode?
Nope, this is the next one.
The summary of that episode is a Cape Side wedding forces Joey to face up to her family's reputation. So before we jump in, are you a wedding person? Do you like weddings?
I guess I've never really thought about it. I'm either or.
I like good weddings.
Okay.
For instance, Troy's brother, one of his brothers, he has 2, recently got married this past fall, and it was such a fun wedding.
Okay.
They told the DJ, do not play any slow songs except for their little song they did. It was just dance, fun music all night.
Nice.
And they had it was a smaller wedding, but it was still a lot of people. And they had like a cocktail hour and drink. They had like themed cocktails. So like the groom and the bride picked their favorite cocktail and you could like anyway, food was great. But I feel like the music makes the moment, right?
Definitely.
And it was so much fun. Everybody in my family was dancing, including my teenager who does not dance much. Cooper was, of course, out there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was a good time. But I also remember going to a wedding years back of a sorority sister that was at a church, the wedding and the reception. It was a dry wedding, which is fine. And they didn't play music. So we just like sat around these weird tables.
That feels really solemn.
It was.
Yeah.
So I like a wedding when it's a good time.
Right.
But I'm not like overly romantic. I like romantic moments, but sometimes weddings, I think because I've been in weddings, unfortunately, I've been in 3 weddings, which should never have happened. And we knew it in the moment.
The 3 that you were in.
I was not the bride in the wedding. I was in the wedding party.
Okay.
And like, yeah.
That's stressful.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have not been to many weddings.
Okay.
I was in one of a sorority sister college friend of mine who's still married to that person today. And then my brother got married and I was like a bridesmaid in that one. And then we were thinking about that the other day. I was like, I can't remember the last time I've been to a wedding.
I've been to a lot. But to be fair, like I was in my mom's wedding when she got remarried. I was in 3 of my sister's weddings. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Your sister got married 3 times?
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
And you were in 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Go, sister.
Sorry, Tara.
I was about to say, Brant and I both have brothers who aren't married and don't plan to ever get married.
Gotcha.
So that automatically, those are like big family weddings.
Well, then Troy has 4 siblings. So like I've been to his sister's wedding and then his brother's. And now the other 2 are engaged. They'll be having weddings in the next year. And then, I mean, I was in like 3 of my sorority sisters' weddings. Yeah, I like a good party. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. I like a good party, and I like to get dressed up. I enjoy that.
That part's fun.
You know, my sister-in-law's wedding was fun too. Troy's older sister. That was a good time.
Well, anyway. I have 5 kids. Even if a few of them don't get married, I figure I've got a few in my future at some
Weddings
point.
Are fun,
and it'll be fun.
They're a good time.
It'll be a good time. Okay. Oh, you just mentioned the perfect wedding. Oh, I said when they do like previously on Dawson's Creek.
Yes.
Especially for this one. What's gonna come up in the episode because they don't touch on everything. But like for example, but you know what's weird? Tyson was in that preview. And then he wasn't in this episode.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking,
maybe they cut
we're
it.
going to see Ty. And then he
Maybe
actually
they cut
wasn't in it. Well, anyway. And I said the thing again about the Notebook. Dawson's movie reminds me of the Notebook because I saw it again. Okay. So Joey's dad came back at the end of the last one. So he's in the ice house, the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was funny. I mean, not to laugh at their like optimism, how like one catering job was going to get them out of debt.
And like, where did they get all the shit for a wedding last minute?
Right.
Did you notice
even
that?
Just the outfits?
I know. They got all these like fancy outfits plus all this food. You all of a sudden know how to make cakes.
Yeah.
Like elaborate wedding cakes.
And it was, what, a couple days out from the wedding?
Right.
I mean, good for them.
I know.
For like trying to level up. So I loved that.
Yes.
But I was also like, one catering job isn't going to do that. And I don't know. It was just a lot.
No, I know.
And then when I just said Jack's advice to Joey, too much, too fast. I think that just has to do with how she was feeling overwhelmed by her dad.
Oh.
And he kind of was just like,
yeah,
affirming her. Okay, so then Abby is here.
Yeah, so this was funny because Jen all of a sudden decides she wants to be friends with Abby.
That was weird.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. And she approaches her and she's
like, I'm bored and let's be friends again.
Yeah, and she's like, you're the only person I've ever had fun with here in Cape Side.
Which is weird because
you swam naked with Dawson, girl. Did you forget?
Oh, that's true. Sure did.
I didn't. But it did seem random. I guess when we get further along in the episode with the plot point, they had to connect somehow. And then Abby just being like, okay, cool.
Well, I mean,
she was flattered.
She's kind of a loose cannon. So.
Yeah, she kind of is like, who knows which way.
I know. But also, I have to say, her pastel eyeshadow and her brown lipstick, her and Gail, because Gail had it too.
Yes, she did.
That was my look back then.
It was cute.
I mean, it's not really, but
they did both have it though. You're right.
I know. Listen, that was my look. I have so many pictures of the late 90s. I told y'all about my white eyeshadow. I was so excited I got to wear white eyeshadow in this last show. I was like, I've missed you.
You're back.
Because it was the late 60s.
It's like we never broke up.
But it wasn't the shiny like this.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, damn, that brings back memories. And she wore that. Abby had on that feathery like coat. Oh, I had something very similar.
It was good.
Yes.
And Gail's dress was really pretty. The like silver, whatever. I mean, most of the teens were in the catering outfits except for Abby and Jen. So they didn't really have like wedding fashion. But yeah, that was really, really good.
Speaking of Gail, let's talk about her for a second. How she all of a sudden is like, I'm going to get your dad back. And I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Y'all went through this whole rigmarole back and forth. And now all of a sudden,
I know.
I didn't like that because it was almost like now that he's finally starting to move on, now you want to.
I know. I feel like it's human nature though.
I know, but still.
I know.
It annoyed me.
It was annoying. I agree with you on that. But yeah, she kind of decided that. So that was kind of a plot point too, right? That she decides. And then Dawson being like, well, if you want something, go get it. Basically. Which also like he's your teenage son who wants his parents to be married. So of course he's gonna say that. But I was like, maybe not the best advice. Did you notice Pacey's hair was a little different when he was catering? It had like the little flip up at the front.
The flip
that was really cute.
I remember that hairstyle.
I was like, oh, he's fancy in this one.
He's fancy. Okay. Fancy Pacey.
Okay. So little existential moment. The bride, who is not a normal character, it's just whatever wedding they were at, is having what we would call cold feet before the wedding. Crying, locks herself in a bathroom. Dawson tries to help, then Jack tries to help. Anyway, in the long run, I feel like I used to just accept that sort of storyline, like, oh, ha ha ha, she'll be fine. And then I was watching it this time and I was like, wait a minute. If we have to literally convince women in these moments or men, like,
maybe don't do it.
Maybe they shouldn't be.
Because I actually had to talk a friend into walking down the aisle. Except the difference was I told her because she was having a moment like this. I said, and I was her maid of honor. And I looked at her. I said, if you want to go, we can go. I said, but you really need to think about it. You know, you say all the things you're supposed to say. I said, but if you want to go, we can go. I'll handle it.
Yeah.
She ended up getting married. She probably shouldn't have. But anyway.
Yeah.
My sister also had a moment like this before her first wedding. As we can see what happened there. So, Anyway, I agree with you 100%. Like if you're feeling, I mean, nerves is normal. Like jittery nerves is totally normal.
It's one thing if you don't want to go out there and have people look at you and you're nervous about that.
Exactly.
It's another thing if you're like, wait, do I really want to commit to this?
Because marriage is, it's a commitment.
And then it's like Dawson's congratulating Jack for getting her to go down the aisle, which first of all, again, teenage boys, like what?
I'm so sure I'd listen to.
And then she even says to them, and then she's like, you saved my life. And I was like, come on.
Also,
now.
If you're getting advice from two teenage boys on relationships, red flag.
On
bitch.
your wedding day.
And you're like, oh, 16-year-old who's been in one relationship.
Yeah.
You're right. Let me go marry this guy.
Yeah. I didn't love it. I know why they did it.
Well, I think because we can see in hindsight, like maybe don't force somebody. Because I mean, like I just said, I have had that almost exact moment with a friend and was like, hey, you love him, whatever. But if you want to go, you can go.
Yeah.
She didn't. Because I don't think she really did want to leave. I think she was just nervous.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's the first time that I think I've seen this sort of like trope of a plot and been like, oh, wait a second, yeah. Okay, so when Abby and Jen are in Jen's room hanging out, this is before they go to crash the wedding. I wrote, Abby looks like a Spice Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Her outfit was
with
like,
her three little pigtails.
The little pigtails, and then like the jeans and little shirt, and then the makeup.
It's very sporty Spice.
Very sporty Spice. Oh, and then Abby says, we need to go. This is what we need to do tonight. The 3 Bs.
The 3 Bs. And then she had 2.
She had 2. Booze and boys. And I was like, that is hilarious. So 3 Bs, but actually just 2.
Booze and boys. Let's go.
Hey.
Katie's like, no.
As long as it's at 3 p.m. on a Saturday, I will be there.
3 o'clock.
If it starts to get dark, oof, I'm grumpy. But if it starts to get dark and I'm still at your house, I'll be okay.
Well, there's wine.
I won't be looking at my dishes.
You're going to have wine.
There'll be wine. We'll be okay.
You're going to be fine.
Don't
worry.
And
it's different when you're not in your environment, right?
And it's my birthday.
If you're
Eve.
having a good time,
like,
and you don't have to work the next day.
I'm not going home to like, yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's different.
I can deal with all the things later.
It's different.
All right. So when Joey's dad, so they kind of keep going back and forth. So what you mentioned in the intro, the townies, I guess, are sort of talking about, oh, he shouldn't be like he was around drugs and he cheated on his wife. And, and so of course Joey's like overhearing all this, which we sort of confront at the end where she's kind of like, eventually she's like, well, people are going to talk, who cares? But that was my thought when she was first really bothered by it. I was just like, well, hasn't she been dealing with this for like years? But again, it's different.
But when he's there, it's different.
She's probably struggling with like, I want to be happy, but also I'm still upset. And then these people are bringing up good points.
Right.
So I could kind of see how she was having trouble there. But I did really appreciate what she said when they were talking about the catering and she was panicking about it and all this stuff. And her dad's like, what's the issue or whatever? And she's like, before we're like around strangers, like out in the public eye, like taking on this big task, we need to reestablish ourselves.
And she's right. Yeah.
And I was like, that's such a great point.
Right.
Like that's the core of like what's making her upset, So anyway.
Well, I wrote down, okay, I had a nostalgic flashback. Because the song that plays when her and her dad start dancing and then it ends up being her and Dawson and they make out.
Yeah.
That song was on that Dawson's Creek soundtrack I have. And it was my favorite.
It's a really pretty song.
It's called Feels Like Home. And it used to make me cry. Those songs that were like, and I used to listen to it. So the guy I dated before Troy, it was a toxic relationship, but he was a Marine and 9/11 happened when we were dating. So he ended up anyway. And I remember taking that old CD out and listening to that song, like young Danny making herself sad. Anyway, but while they were slow dancing, I was like, oh, that is one thing I also love about weddings. I do love a good slow dance. Yeah. When's the last time you slow danced?
I don't even remember.
I cannot tell you.
I don't even think I've ever been to a wedding with my husband because when my brother got married, I went out by myself. And obviously, I don't think my husband and I have ever gone to a wedding together, ever.
I mean, Trey and we were just at his brother's, but like I said, there was no slow music. So we just booty danced the whole time, which is a good time. I like me a booty dance. Yeah. But like, I was like, when was the last time I had a good slow dance? Because there's just something about a good little slow dance, cheek to cheek.
Yeah, and if you're at an event literally celebrating love.
Yeah, and you're all dressed fancy and cute.
You look nice. Yeah, and it's like you said, kind of out of routine, just like something special. Yeah, I love it. I don't know. I mean, I cannot danced with my husband at our wedding, but I don't know if we've ever
We're like old ass married people. Also, it's like one of those like I can't remember what movie or show this was, but it's like people who've been married like a long time, like you and I have, not to each other, in case you're new here. And they were like, when's the last time we like kissed, right? Like had like a kiss, and you're like, oh, you're like, wow, did you ever think in your life you would have to think about that?
Right.
Not like kiss, but like, you know, make out kiss.
Right.
That kind of falls to the wayside when you're married.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, it's birthday night. We got to get down to business.
Birthday morning.
Whatever.
Danny.
It's business time. Just get it done.
Get it over with.
That's sad. Anyway, slow dancing and smooching. Bring it back.
Okay.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. Slow dancing and smooching. I can't even say it. So I wrote, I'm all for Mitch dating, but bringing the teacher to the wedding that he knew Gail was going to be at. What did you? I just thought that was a little much. On the other hand, I don't know.
I'm on his side. Like,
and maybe he thought
because he said I have to move on. Like, he said she's gonna have to get over it. Facts.
Yeah, but like of all places. At a wedding.
Okay, sorry.
I know. I didn't love it, but I understand what you're saying.
I mean, okay, granted. I mean, they had problems in their marriage anyway, or she wouldn't have been having an affair. So let me rewind because I'm not gonna.
Right.
It's never just one person.
It never is.
So I will fix that. But also, they are divorced. They signed the papers, and it is done.
Yeah.
And he's right. I mean, like, it's his colleague. He's moving on. They live in a small town. She's gonna see him anyway.
That's true.
Like, it's not like I don't know.
So when Abby and Jen show up,
here we go.
And Andy goes, "What are you guys doing here?" Abby goes, "He's in hell." I loved that.
I just love her.
Just the way she said it. "What are you doing here?" Whatever. And so then Andy tries to get them, does get them to leave because she's like, "You're going to get us in trouble. You're going to get us fired." When Andy, you already ruined the wedding cake, P.S., but whatever. So she knocking the top of it off. So she does successfully get them to leave.
Yeah. Which
plays into something else. But,
and you forgot about this next big moment, didn't you?
I forgot.
Yeah, I knew you hadn't remembered because I almost said something about it early on when we were talking about Abby. And then I was like, wait, she doesn't remember.
I didn't remember.
Abby dies, everyone.
Yep.
Are we there yet? Or do you have more stuff? I forgot Abby died. Yeah.
Basically, yes, they get kicked out. And then it's funny because before that happened, I wrote glamorizing drinking. And I said, till Abby falls in. But then I have a couple other just like random notes because I guess I just assumed, I really didn't remember because I assumed they pulled her out and all the things. Next thing you know, they cut to her being zipped up. Her corpse.
She's like zipped
up in a body bag.
And that was the last minute of the show.
Last minute. And Jen's just standing there crying.
So I remember when this episode came out, it was like crazy because again, it happened the last 60 seconds and this was back before streaming. So you had to watch it every, Wednesday night.
Or whatever. Yeah.
And I can remember being like, because it was so weird because they show her fall in and then there's all these other moments that happen.
It's true. There was like 4 or 5
So you're like calm and you're like, oh, Dawson.
And you see Jen jump in after her.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, Dawson and Joey are making out and like, oh, cute. And then all of a sudden it goes back and she's fucking dead, like going to the morgue.
Yeah.
Wild.
And then it was over.
And then it was done. Wild. Now I will say you will see her again a little bit. Okay. Her ghost comes back a little bit.
I don't know how I forgot that, but I did. Yeah. Whew,
so stay tuned for the next 2 episodes.
For episodes 19 and 20 coming at you next time. And and then I guess we'll have to discuss. We do have some summer stuff coming up, so we'll probably take a little hiatus from Dawson's. Maybe we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Once we get through season 2. But make sure you are reviewing us, sharing us.
Yes.
Whether you watch Dawson's or not. Look at all the stuff you would have missed if you didn't listen. Whoa.
So they may be like, shit, we're never listening to the Dawson's again.
Actually, that's why this is the first and last time I'm going to listen to it. But that's also okay. We'll take your download. We'll take it. And thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.